This is the tale of two influencers, influencer A and influencer B. We'll call influencer A Ashley, and we'll call influencer B Becky. I love saying the name Becky. This is obviously not their real names. Their names have been changed to protect their identity, and also because Becky is litigious, and I ain't trying to get sued here. And this video was inspired by the Verge article. What is the article called? Bad Influence. I typed out these notes, actually. I typed it out on a typewriter. This is just crazy. Ashley and Becky are two influencers within the aesthetic, I would call it clean girl sphere. You know the look, the clean girl sphere. For those who like this aesthetic, one would call it the luxe aesthetic, modern luxury, stealth wealth, neutral beige colors. They both have like a similar look. They both have long flowing locks. It's probably with some highlights. It's that influencer hair. You know what I'm talking about. I could pull up a bunch of hairstyles and then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you're not chronically online, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. So therefore I have to be very descriptive here. This hair, by the way, I feel like is brought about by like that Dyson hair wrap thing. Can't speak today. It's a dark day. Everything looks ugly. Okay, calm down, Teresa. Ashley and Becky. They have the same kind of hairstyle. They have the same kind of content, which involves a lot of neutrals, a lot of beige, blacks and whites, like a minimal luxe look. For the detractors of this look, it's known as sad beige millennial. Although I don't think that they're millennial. I think they're actually Gen Z. They're in their early 20s. They're Gen Z. A lot of their clothes are neutral, like oversized beige sweatsuits or sweat sets. In their home, there's like a lot of boucle, and a very expensive, or at least looks expensive, candle. Usually of white, smells clean, smells like cotton. So this is what we're dealing with here. So we have Ashley and Becky, not their real name, similar look, similar interior design taste, similar audience. And they are both killing it as influencers on TikTok, making short form content, and Instagram, and maybe YouTube. I haven't looked. So they're killing it as influencers, making short form content of how to style your living room for the holiday season, or like how to style my baby room, or how to style this corner of your office. And obviously in these videos, they're going to help you shop. They have links in their bio. They have an Amazon influencer page with affiliate links, and the things that they are selling you, like a lush Barefoot Dreams-esque blanket, a very cute 2-piece set, they're very similar as well. There's a lot of overlap between their audience, their interior design styles, their look, the QVC-esque home items that they're selling you from Amazon or like TikTok shop. It's very similar. So Ashley and Becky are embroiled in this lawsuit that has rocked the internet. Well, I wouldn't say the entire internet. I feel like it's just rocked the aesthetic influencer sphere, which is something that I'm sure like the general populace doesn't give a shit about. The Sad Beige Lawsuit. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Becky is suing Ashley for stealing Becky's aesthetic, for stealing her style. And in the article that I read that inspired this video, is a great article. It's on The Verge. It's called Bad Influence by Mia Sato. The headline reads, "One Amazon influencer makes a living posting content from her beige home. But after she noticed another account hawking the same minimal aesthetic, a rivalry spiraled into a first-of-its-kind lawsuit. Can the legal system protect the vibe of a creator? And what if that vibe is basic?" So these are some hard-hitting questions that honestly matter to nobody. You may think probably has no relevance to your everyday life. Like, why do I care if like a basic influencer with a minimal luxe, sad beige look expensive aesthetic is suing another one for copying her style? At the same time, and here's the rub, you're like thinking this is the most shallow of topics, Teresa. What can I say? This is what we do here. We cover shallow topics, which on the surface may seem shallow. It's like a pond, or it's like a puddle that you step in, and it's like actually a manhole. This goes deeper, guys. This goes deeper than anybody could ever imagine, than the two parties can imagine. It goes deeper than you can even imagine. And I I've imagined it, so it's not that surprising to me. What does it mean to be basic? How the algorithm of each individual social media platform promotes trends, promotes sameness in many ways, but suppresses individuality. How the algorithm and these influencers, which I think are like soldiers of the algorithm, whether they know it or not, is signaling the death of personal style. My name is Teresa, and this is Can You Copyright an Aesthetic? The way I want to tackle this topic is I'm not a journalist. I didn't do some investigative deep dive here. I just want you to think of me as your friend that you're going out to coffee with, or your coworker that you're hanging out in the break room around the water cooler. We're both sipping on some scalding hot tea. I'm approaching this not from a point of view of malice. I'm not coming in to mock these influencers, Becky and Ashley, not their real name. I'm not coming in to mock them, because when I read this article, and it has undertones of mocking, it's a great article, but it's kind of mean. But when I read it, I just felt kind of sorry for both Becky and Ashley, because I see them as not so much like two people embroiled in a petty lawsuit over aesthetics, over basic aesthetics, but I see them as two people caught in a system that's kind of pitting them against each other. Becky, the plaintiff, is left grasping for minutia, trying to make herself stand out in the world of content creation, where you're not really rewarded in many ways for standing out. From a standpoint of desperation, they've reached the point where they're just grappling at the minutia of trying to carve out a little bit of individuality, while their platform is trying to suppress any kind of individuality as possible. Petty systems create petty people. The article Bad Influence by Mia Sato is a piece of great journalism. There are some zingers in this article. Influencer A, Ashley, not her real name, has what some would consider a dream job. She shops online for a living. Every day, an Amazon delivery truck pulls up to her home to drop off jewelry, handbags, desk chairs, fake plants. So many packages arrive in a week that she doesn't even know the exact number. So the videos Ashley makes, very similar to the videos that Becky makes. So similar that it's embroiled in this copyright lawsuit. ASMR, Amazon, vacay, jewelry unboxing, Amazon kitchen finds I'm obsessed with. When I visit her house in a quiet, clean subdivision, the first thing I notice is the avalanche of beige and neutrals. Everything around me, the rugs, the art, the books on the shelves, are shades of white, black, and cream. After a few minutes of walking through her home, it starts to feel like I'm browsing paint chips at Lowe's. Extra white, Grecian ivory, shiitake, white heron. She likes it this way. It's definitely very calming, says Ashley, who is 21. She's not even a millennial. Millennials get a bad rep for having a sad beige home, but 21, not a millennial. Growing up, my parents have had a bunch of pictures on the wall. They had rooms that had different colors. So when we moved into this place, I was like, I don't want a bunch of stuff on the wall. I don't want mishmash things. I just want it to be cohesive and plain. It is not just Ashley who prefers her space to be colorless. A generation of women dream in beige and cream. That was a really good line. As a fellow writer, that is a generation of women dream in beige and cream. Mia Sato, you goddamn genius, you. But it's also kind of mean. She goes on to explain that after all, Ashley's aesthetic is spare, bland, or if you want to be ungenerous, you can call it basic. That's mean. That's a low blow. Basic. Anyways, the article goes to describe the relationship between Becky and Ashley. They both inhabit the same minimal aesthetic, luxury, make it look expensive sphere. But one time during like an influencer meetup, a possible collab or something, they did meet each other and they weren't fans of each other. They didn't mesh well together. Remember Clueless where Ty was like, we don't mesh well together. So Ashley wasn't getting good vibes from Becky. So she unfollowed or blocked Becky. I guess like Becky really rubbed Ashley the wrong way. So Ashley blocked her, as kiss of death. She blocked her on our accounts and then she just went on doing her own thing. Time passes and all of a sudden she served a lawsuit that she has been blatantly copying Becky's style. She's been infringing upon Becky's copyright, copying everything she does online. The decor, the aesthetic, the filming angles, the clothes, the hair. Becky has even accused Ashley of like a single white female kind of thing. Like Ashley has changed her style to make herself look like Becky, to the point Becky's followers are mistaking Ashley for Becky. This is causing Becky great distress, and also it's causing her a significant dip in income because the items that she's recommending to her followers to buy through her Amazon page are the same items that Becky has been recommending her followers to buy. There's a cannibalism of the luxe luxury if you're nice, or sad beige if you're mean. There's a cannibalism of the sad beige market here. Becky's lemonade stand is losing business because Ashley has set up shop right next to Becky's lemonade stand and is poaching her customers. They both have like the same buy lemonade for 25 cents sign, no variation. Being a full-time content creator, Becky is scared because her income, her living is on the line. So that's what we're dealing with here. The defendant, however, Ashley, obviously she thinks this is ridiculous. She's been pushed to her limit, okay? She's been pushed up against her aesthetic wall. She's been pushed too far by Becky. Influencer A, Ashley, counters. She also says it is not she who has poached the content of Becky. It seems that Becky has been copying her. See, as an introvert, I see nothing good ever coming of people meeting in person, especially when influencers meet in person. Question is, will I ever have a meet and greet? No, I'm scared of people. If I ever have a meet and greet, I'll just sit there. Hi, I'm glad you like my channel. I have to go to the bathroom, and then I will just lock myself in a bathroom stall. And then you could probably talk to me through the bathroom stall because I think I'm more comfortable if there's like a door around me. Nothing good ever comes when two influencers meet. That's my theory. Ashley, in her response to Becky's accusation, opens with a quote attributed to the originator of the sad beige look. It opens with a quote from Kim Kardashian. People only rain on your parade because they're jealous of your sun and tired of their shade. Which I can tell you now, I'm not a real lawyer. Occasionally I play one on YouTube, and I specialize in the public defense of wronged millennials, which is kind of pushing a boulder uphill because nobody has sympathy for wronged millennials. I was public defender in the case of the public versus the sad beige millennial mom. You can see that trial right here, and I lost. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you can see, the defendant is a hapless victim. You can see that she did not start off as a beige baby. Having grown up in 90s clutter, early 2000s clutter, having been scarred by the 2008 recession, scarred into going into minimalism, that drove her into beigifying her child's nursery for the clout, for the likes on social media. Drove her to film herself doing it. She's spray painting. She knows not what she does. I lost that trial. I lost hard. So I don't know why millennials keep hiring me to be their lawyer on YouTube. I guess it's because I'm a public defender, so technically I work pro bono. But I can tell you that in the eyes of the general population, in the eyes of the jury, nobody has any sympathy toward influencers. Starting your opening statement with a quote from Kim Kardashian is not perhaps the best move to garner anybody's sympathy. In the case of the plaintiff, influencer B, Becky, it was brought to her attention by her followers that they saw Ashley's video and thought it was her. Copied down to the way the video was edited, the prop styling involved, the voiceovers involved, the fact that they were basically showcasing the same Amazon products, which Becky says that she spends hours on Amazon curating her Amazon storefront only to have Ashley sweep in. So that's the gist of it, and it enraged Becky so much that she registered her social media posts with the Copyright Office. So both Becky and Ashley have similar online personas and aesthetics apart from the neutral minimal house. They are, and I quote, they both have long, shiny hair that's often set in gentle curls or slicked back into a bun. They opt for uncomplicated clothing like fitted tank tops, t-shirts, oversized sweatsuits, chunky off-white sneakers paired with gold tone rings, necklaces, earrings. Their makeup is fresh and glowy. Their nails are perfectly manicured. They make fancy looking drinks in their spotless kitchens. So basically what this article describes and what photos have confirmed are two influencers, are mirror images of each other. And from the perspective of somebody who occasionally looks at short form video, sometimes when you're in a scrolling frenzy, your attention can only handle like about five seconds of each video. They're all starting to sound the same. They all start to look the same. The camera angles look the same. Voiceovers all start to sound the same. Like, I call this the TikTok hand gesture, where everybody's doing this with their hands. Like, today I am so excited to be sharing with you this rose, it's red bloody rose. A lipstick company. You see these hands, you see this hand, and you see that intonation to my voice. I'm not acting the best of my ability, but it's very similar. The behaviors of this niche is very similar, and other niches as well. What fascinates me, how did it all start? Who was the original person that started acting this way for this type of content? And then everybody just kind of follows. Everybody in this niche has picked up a manner of speaking, a manner of hand gestures, a manner of editing. Let's phrase it another way. Why did Becky decide to sue Ashley when there were so many other creators just like Becky? And that's one of the questions that Ashley has asked herself. Why is she the one being served the lawsuit when there's hundreds of thousands of other creators doing exactly the same thing that Becky is? When I think describing the situation, it seems that Ashley is the victim and then Becky is the, petty influencer suing Ashley. Ashley got the short end of the stick, or she got the fuzzy end of the lollipop. She got the lawsuit because she had the misfortune of meeting Becky in person. And once again, as I said before, nothing good happens from influencers meeting in person. Nothing good ever happens from socializing. What I see is an act of desperation on Becky's part, because Becky, according to the article, is a full-time creator. Like, her livelihood, her entire income, and also her family relies upon her success as a luxury influencer. It's not just Ashley or only Ashley poaching her Amazon affiliate commissions from her. It's the other influencers in that clean girl niche. Unfortunately for Ashley, she had the misfortune of meeting Becky, so then Becky has a face to put on to her competition, and it's all personified in the form of Ashley, who she deems as copying her. In actuality, they're all just members of what I like to call a herd aesthetic. This petty lawsuit on Becky's part is more so like a cry for help, if you can call it that. It's a defense mechanism that has turned into offense, and poor Ashley here happens to be the face of an invisible enemy to Becky. That's what I think has happened. You got to put a face to the enemy, and the enemy happens to be Ashley. And all because Ashley unfortunately met Becky. What we have here is a classic case of the airplane seat analogy. Like, if you're stuck in an economy on an airplane and you're stuck in the middle seat, the person in the middle seat in front of you leans back. They really invade your personal space. You have no leg room. They're like bumping back. I need space too. So you kick them in the back. Because they're reclining back, you decide to recline back and bother the person behind you. And now you're all angry at each other. It's like a three-way anger thing. But what you should actually be angry about, that you're powerless to do anything against, is the airline that has decreased your legroom and decided to cram everybody inside the airplane like sardines, when, like back in the 60s or the 50s, air travel was a luxury. You were served a freaking lobster tail. But now, like, everybody's crammed in like sardines. They're overselling tickets and bumping people. When you're at each other's throats, it's because corporations have put you in a boiler room. And I feel like this is what's happening to Becky and Ashley. Like, Becky is at Ashley's throat, and then Ashley is not just gonna sit back and take it, so she's gonna go after Becky. But when you think about it, who is pitting them together? It's the algorithm. It's the TikTok algorithm. It's the Instagram algorithm. And let's not speak of the elephant in the room here. It's Amazon. So back to the whole Amazon affiliate storefront situation that Becky is having an issue with. What I learned from the article is that a lot of Amazon products, sometimes sometimes you'll notice they'll have the badge of like most popular or like bestseller or best rated and everything. A lot of people are going to probably just buy the most popular item, the bestseller. And according to the article, many of the products influencers feature in content are pushed at them by Amazon itself. Around sales events like Prime Day or Black Friday, creators receive giant spreadsheets of hundreds of thousands of items that will be on sale that influencers are encouraged to promote. These two people with a similar niche would feature the same products. So there you go. Is it really copying one storefront, or is there only so many products that two influencers or many influencers from a similar niche, there's only so many things that one could sell? So the writer did a reverse image search of these two women both modeling the same baggy gray two-piece sweatsuit set. They model it in the similar way of phone in front of your face, obscuring your face in front of the mirror. They could be anybody. They could be Ashley, Becky, Kathy, Denise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit of Monica in my life. Anyways, if you've ever consumed any short form content, it's very hard, I think, to form any kind of like parasocial relationship, especially when they're faceless. They just film faceless aesthetic content. It's very hard to kind of get to know them. Like your only personality in these kind of videos is how pretty you can make things. The algorithm promotes trends. The easiest way to get discoverability is if you jump onto like the latest TikTok trend. Use the trending music of the summer in your TikTok videos, and that increases your discoverability. But in promoting these trends and promote sameness, in actuality, uniqueness is not necessarily rewarded. Uniqueness is rewarded to an extent, but what is rewarded even more is sameness. I can only speak to my own experience here on YouTube with the algorithm and like how many views I get. And it took me a long time to realize this. I'm not very quick on the uptake, is that every time I go off and I talk about something that's like more obscure and not trendy, I'll pay for it. Like the lower views you have with the algorithm, it indicates to the algorithm that people are not interested in watching you. So then your next video will not be promoted almost at all. If a video doesn't do well, if a video flops, then as a creator, you're put into like a penalty box. Then once you're in the penalty box, it affects your future videos until you talk about a topic that people are very excited about, and then you kind of have to dig yourself out of this hole. If I make a video and make a really good video about a topic that nobody gives a shit about, what is the point? Like it's buried, it's gone. And then it's going to hurt your other videos. So you can imagine if you're penalized for thinking out of the box, trying something new, maybe a little too new, then you are slowly kind of slapped on the snout and told to just do what everybody else is doing. Be safe, be the same. I know that like if I wanted a shit ton of views, I could have a whole career making fun of somebody on TikTok. But sometimes I feel like I want to talk about Victorian Gothic romance literature, and that actually really hurts me. I mean, nobody gets diddled in this. This is Victorian Gothic romance literature. So let's just keep it classy here. Nobody diddles anybody. Nobody diddles the governess. Nobody diddles the master of the house. But there's the suggestion that people want to diddle each other. That is to say that platforms are enforcers of trends and standards. If you make content that is considered advertiser friendly, in terms of like the platform will make money if you do well, then you are promoted. But if you make content that is not considered advertiser friendly, or you're just marching to the beat of your own drummer, then it's more likely to be suppressed. And I realize that I have absolutely no intuition when it comes to what videos will do well and what videos will not do well. In fact, it turns out that like all the videos for me that have done well have been videos, but I'm like, nobody will ever watch this. No, it's not going to do well. And then they do better than I expected. All the videos that have completely bombed, completely flopped, were videos that I thought would do well. It's really going to happen for me. I'm going to be a real YouTuber, and they have flopped and flopped embarrassingly hard. Every single intuition I ever had is wrong, so I should just do the opposite. Maybe you want to suggest some video ideas for me down in the comments below, and if I completely hate the idea, then that's probably the video I should do. So in conclusion, I think Becky has an uphill battle convincing the jury to, number one, take anything or anyone having the label of influencer seriously. Your immediate gut reaction when you hear anybody's an influencer and they're having like petty influencer problems is like, God, that in the eyes of the general population, in the eyes of the jury, nobody has any sympathy toward influencers. You don't suffer as much as if, say, you have like a customer service job. I think that Becky has an uphill battle proving to the jury her aesthetic is so unique, so her own, that it warrants a copyright. It's hard to copyright an aesthetic that is considered basic. You're just wearing basic clothes, a white tank top. How do you copyright that? It kind of reminds me of this drama in the indie romance world where several years ago there was an author. She writes spicy romances about a band of brothers or something, or a bunch of cousins, and they're like cocky bastards. So like every book is like cocky something. Get your mind out of the gutter. Well, actually, because it's spicy romance, just get your mind right into the gutter, but cocky, arrogant wordplay, you know. Then she went about sending cease and desist letters to every other romance writer who had cocky in their title. It's called Cocky Gate. And that didn't pan out for her. It's like also the people who try to copyright the word react, you know, anytime somebody reacts to something on YouTube. So anytime you try to trademark just a basic word out of the English language, you try to trademark the look of neutrals, I feel like it's not going to go well for you. The court of public opinion is not on your side. You know what? I think the main issue here is that these two influencers are living out that airplane analogy in which they're getting into each other's space. They're both in economy and they're getting in each other's space. One is reclining and Ashley's reclining into Becky's space, and Becky's losing her leg room, so she's got to kick Ashley in the back. They're at each other's throats because the airline has crammed them into that tiny space for profit. Don't hate the players, hate the game. This is Teresa, your resident video essayist that you will see sometimes unless she completely drops the ball and decides to talk about books again, or some very obscure time in fashion history, in which case you probably won't see me. So if you want to see me in your feed, comment this duck emoji down below. I don't know why I chose a duck, but just comment, just put this duck emoji down in the comments down below. Tell me the topic of my next video essay because I obviously need help. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel and hit all the notification bells. I don't know what that would do, but can't hurt. If you ever see me talk about like pantaloons, then just tell me to just stop.